What's up, guys? Welcome to Box of Box Football, and we are here to react to the Champions League. Apologies for the late. Got so many stuff going on today for myself, but Jack,
So, some of us had a drink last night. We won't say who that is, but
I don't drink, so yeah.
so yeah, process of elimination.
So we got Liverpool versus Real Madrid. Real Madrid come out on top, 1-0 winners, 14 freaking Champions League. The second has 7, Jack. Absolutely incredible from Real Madrid's point of view. In my opinion,
5 Champions League now, 5 total Champions League titles. That list is kind of crowded thanks to one era and one team, basically.
Jack, it's to me, it's mad. I think before that it was Maldini and Ronaldo.
Seedorf as well, right?
Seedorf had, I think Seedorf's
on 4, I think.
4, yeah. Seedorf had 4.
Well, might be 5 though. I'm not gonna lie. Anyway, go ahead.
But like the fact, I think 7 or 9 Real Madrid players end up hitting 5, which is absolutely crazy. Jack, there's no debate who is the greatest club side of all time. There is a reason why players literally would do anything to just put on that white shirt, because it's everything. And again, we can glitz and glamour about Real Madrid, but let's touch a quick little thing on the game, Jack. 1-0 Real Madrid. Were you surprised on the result and especially how the game went?
Yeah. I mean, one of my kind of key points, I think that hopefully we're going to dive into here a little bit more. Jurgen Klopp thought about it too much. You can take this into a sporting context or to video games or to whatever sort of competitive contest that you want to enter into. Do you mitigate and try and limit what your opponent's going to do, or do you take the initiative and go out and do stuff? And what I thought, James, was from Real Madrid's point of view, they didn't try and play Real Madrid football. We didn't see really Liverpool the way that we usually see them. They did too much to try and consider what was happening from Real Madrid's side of things, when actually I think Liverpool are best placed to just go, here's what we do. I'm going to put it out there. And you know what? If you can deal with us, good for you. If you can't, we're going to beat you. I look at, just to give the kind of initial example, they let Trent do his thing. They did. When Vinicius Jr. got the ball, they gave him a hell of a lot of respect. You saw Henderson go over. You saw Fabinho go over. You saw Salah track back. And then you got 5 bodies around Vinicius Jr. and Ferland Mendy down around that side, right? They let Fede Valverde and Danny Carvajal do whatever they wanted on that side. You could see from watching the game, Fede Valverde's instructions were, you keep an eye on Andrew Robertson, make sure he doesn't do anything. And Robertson's on the halfway line, next to Van Dijk and next to Konate. And Valverde, you can see him, if you watch the game back, you can see him looking and going, keep an eye on Robertson. Well, he's still on the halfway line. He's still on the halfway line. What the hell's going on here? So again, I think that Real Madrid were prepared for a completely different Liverpool side, and Liverpool, to a certain extent, bent over backwards to try and accommodate what was going to be happening for Real Madrid. Now, I'm not trying to say that Vinicius Jr. isn't worthy of that. We saw a couple nice little moments there where he's kind of feeling himself. He's kind of confidence, the little scoop that he does over somebody. That was really, really nice. And a Champions League final, confident to the kid. But yeah, James, for me, overthinking from Klopp. I think the nerves of the situation, let's say, got to the better of Liverpool. The stats really do not represent the game correctly.
Again, the stats tell you a story. Liverpool dominated and this and that. I feel Liverpool dominated the first 30 to 40 minutes of football, and after that, especially in the second half, it was a lot more balanced affair. I feel this game for Liverpool hinged on the fact that they didn't take their chances in these first 40 minutes. You see Sadio Mane with a great shot that was, what a save by Thibaut Courtois. You got Mo Salah having shot after shot after shot in the first half, and you're thinking, in that situation there where Liverpool were so on top, Real Madrid still find a way to withstand the pressure. They suffered, but once they realized that they were able to get at this Liverpool team, we've seen with the ball over the top into Benzema. People say it's a goal, people say it's not a goal. To me, I don't know how VAR does not reward that as a goal. To me, that was a clear goal.
The only justification I think I can give, just for everybody out there, what's VAR there for? What are the principles that VAR is embedded in? Whatever the on-field decision is, if it is clear and obvious, just unequivocal, then they make the change. Now, to me, I thought it was a goal too, James. I don't know how a Liverpool player can hit it onto a Liverpool player for it to then go to Benzema and Benzema did not score. That doesn't make any sense to me. That really doesn't. So to me, I thought it was a goal too, but there were enough voices, either fans or commentators or pundits or whatever, who might have said, well, he was... So there's enough grey area for me to consider VAR being used appropriately. It's not clear and obvious, even though my own personal opinion, I think it kind of was clear and obvious.
When I look at both teams, they done what I expected to do. I feel like maybe if you're on Jurgen Klopp's side, maybe the fact you mentioned Andy Robertson, we didn't see much of him as we've seen on many occasions. Maybe that was a thing that they were a bit frightened of. But the biggest thing for me is that Liverpool's fairness of Vinicius Jr. The fact that, listen, they don't leave their fullback, who is Trent Alexander-Arnold, to keep an eye on him. You know, sometimes Jack Kanate literally came over. That was, and like I said this to you at the time, the fact that Kanate was coming over, and also Virgil van Dijk was shuffling over, and
Henderson,
Andy Robson
Fabinho
was shuffling over. There was space on the right hand side if Real Madrid were able to get that switch. Unfortunately, they weren't able to do that. But you looked at Real Madrid, as soon as the chance went and like the goal wasn't given, they grew in confidence. They kept on playing. And the biggest thing for me with Real Madrid is that all that pressure that Liverpool gave, they still looked relaxed, Jack.
Real Madrid still felt the more dangerous team to me, throughout the game.
But the way Liverpool were able to overwhelm them in them first 30 minutes, usually a lot of teams crumble in that situation, Jack. Trust me.
Right.
I'm an Arsenal fan. When Liverpool put pressure on you, it's kind of done. Real Madrid seemed calm. They withstood that pressure. And in the second half, yes, you look at it from the point of view of 2 shots on target. They didn't create that many goals, of chances, whatever. But they felt comfortable to me. And like as soon as the goal went in, we mentioned about Trent Alexander-Arnold. The ball flashes across the box. So one thing for me that Trent didn't do, he never looked over his shoulder to see where Vinicius was. People would say, I was seeing it in the American commentary with Jamie Carragher, Mika Richardson, and like Thierry Henry. They said it was tough for Trent in that situation. But the fact that he doesn't look to see where Vinicius is at one point lets me know, to me, it was poor. Personally, to me, it was poor defending. But as soon as Real Madrid got that goal, yes, Liverpool had chances here or there, but it wasn't ever a thing that I felt that they were going to break this Real Madrid team down. It was very, very comfortable, Jack.
There were a couple of chances too, Jack. The Salah shot with his left foot that was going into the corner. A lot of people want to go, wow, Courtois, wow. What's Mo Salah going to do from that position on his strong foot? He's going to do that shot. Thibaut Courtois is one of the bigger goalkeepers in the whole of the world, and plays for Real Madrid and is a top quality goalkeeper. It's a very easy to predict, easy to read, telegraphed. If you're a good goalkeeper, you should be saving that kind of shot. And I think what I look at the shots that Real Madrid didn't take, James, because what did they do? They recycled possession. They tried to get into a situation where they had a better opportunity to score. If you have 100 shots in the game, if 99 of those shots are from the halfway line, are you dominating because you had all these shots? No, not all shots are created equally. I never really looked at any of Real Madrid's efforts or shots, apart from that one Mane had where Courtois had to get down. Apart from that, I didn't really see anything too threatening.
Also, Jack, you meant Liverpool. You said Real Madrid.
Oh, sorry, excuse me.
Yeah, I mean there was the one where I think Courtois had to like run across his box and like made the big block there. But to me, it wasn't actually. And also, Jack, there was a second one from Salah where Salah went down the line, flashes it across the box, and like Courtois gets fingertips to it and pushes it past the post.
That was nice. That was really nice.
Like that was a huge save there. But I felt overall Real Madrid were comfortable, and as soon as the goal went in, I never really felt Liverpool were gonna get back into them, and that's not bad on Liverpool. That's credit to Real Madrid in how they were able to manage a whole 90 minutes game of football. Jack, this is not. We're not searching for 3 points here. We're not trying to get into a semi-final here.
No,
we're trying to win a final. Winning a final. Winning a final match is a completely different ball game, and like to me, the way Real Madrid were able to navigate from minute 1 to minute 90 was fantastic. Yes, they didn't have the ball. Yes, they didn't create the majority of the chances there. But that was, to me, a fantastic team display on how
Yes.
to win a cup final. It was like, to me, it was brilliant from Real Madrid.
Well, and a lot of stuff went their way. I'm super critical of, like, not critical, let's say, but I'm a little less on Danny Carvajal than I am on most players at that top level. I still think it's an egregious error that they have Danny Carvajal instead of Achraf Hakimi. But Danny Carvajal was amazing. That's a man of the match contender. Thibaut Courtois, right? Thibaut Courtois is man of the match, in my view. Thibaut Courtois was amazing.
He's easily the man of the match.
Yeah, Fede Valverde had a great game. We didn't see him that early on. The midfield, again, very, very solid. You're always going to have a chance when you've got a midfield of that nature. So everything was kind of going their way. And Liverpool, stuff wasn't going their way. You mentioned Trent Alexander-Arnold defending at the back post. What do we know about Trent Alexander-Arnold? You have to give up a little bit on the defensive side of the game. I think he's a better defender than a lot of people say. To me, this isn't like the worst right back in the world from a defensive standpoint. He still can defend okay. And, you know, he has interceptions, tackles, blocks, all that stuff to back that up. But in the bigger moments, he's the one who usually has the lapse of concentration, which isn't a statistic that then gets considered to concede a goal. And what do you need from him if you're going to have an error of that nature in the game? What do you need from him? You need good dead ball delivery. You need good crossing. You need good decision making. You need all these things. At no point did I really see any major deliveries from either flank or any of the midfield positions to go, that's a dangerous ball. Oh, that looks good. A lot of the corners, at no point did I see one coming in and went, here we go, there's going to be a 50-50 here, He's going to have a chance. It didn't really happen. So there was no real venom from them with what they're, you know, historically really, really good at.
Now, Jack, the one thing I want to touch on is Michael Owen's comments on Liverpool after the game. So Michael Owen said that Liverpool are still the best team in Europe after failing to win the league and obviously failing to win the Champions League. And they're still better than Real Madrid. The fact that Real Madrid have been able to beat the champions of Europe, the champions of England, and also Liverpool. So technically, the three best teams in England. No, but also the three best teams in England, they have been able to beat. And for Michael Owen to say that Liverpool are still the best team in Europe, how? Like they're not even the best team in there, like in the Premier League, if we're being truthfully honest there. So where do you stand with all this? You know, who's think about who's the best team, who's this, who's that?
It's how you want to frame the conversation. You know, this Real Madrid team, as much as, you know, recency bias from them being, you know, winning the hardest competition in the world to win, in my view, you and I've, you know, debated on this before. I believe that the quality of football player at a Champions League final is higher than a quality of football player at a World Cup final. That's just my own view. I usually believe that's the case. So I believe it's the highest quality football match the world can produce. In a league format, do I think that Liverpool and Man City, if Real Madrid were in the same league as those two teams, do I think Real Madrid would finish third behind Man City and Liverpool? Yes, I do. In a cup competition, though, James, we've seen already Real Madrid beat these other teams more often than not. So it's how you frame it, right? My best example I would give, you know, this Real Madrid team, if they're the best team in the world, I mean, they didn't win the league last year. Atletico Madrid did. And Atletico Madrid, we're not talking about them in this kind of conversation of the best teams in the league. Whereas the past 5 years, it's been Liverpool, Man City battling together in the Premier League. So do I think Man City is the best team in the world? Yes, I do. Do I think the second best team in the world is Liverpool? Yes, I do. But again, Liverpool are not, after losing a Champions League final, going to be considered the best team in the world. I just don't buy that.
Jack, Real Madrid are champions of Spain and now champions of Europe. To me, that quantifies as the best team in like Europe in my eyes. The fact that they've been able to be so dominant in their league, you can say the matter of fact, how they got it done. They still got the job done. No matter how you frame it, like they've still got the job done. So personally, to me, they are.
James, I'll ask you: if Real Madrid were plugged into the Premier League, do Real Madrid win the Premier League? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say they finish third.
Well, I feel like Man City have the Premier League down to a team
so,
at this moment.
So
again, but if they came over to La Liga, it would be different. But wait,
no,
Jack,
but James,
Jack,
if Man City were in La Liga, I think Man City win the Liga like easily, actually, really easily. So to me, it's again to Michael Owen's point. It's how you frame the conversation. I hate when people don't set out like, how are we judging this, because how you judge it is so important. You can't just, Michael Owen's classic at this. You can't just make a blanket statement and then move on to the next thing, or else you're going to get, you're going to get criticized, Michael.
Jack,
Like, come on.
Jack, I just want to move over to two more things. Liverpool's season, and we're talking about Liverpool so much. We're going to get into Real Madrid in a minute. Liverpool season, success or failure?
I think you have to call it a success. I mean, purely from a standpoint of like expectations, I think you have to consider it a success. You and I talk about this a lot. I think if you look at, the Premier League just as an example, how many teams do you think, as an expectation, either from their fan base or from pundits or whatever, how many teams do you think we should be fighting for every cup? We should be trying to win a league? Well, Man City, definitely. Liverpool, definitely. Chelsea, definitely. Man United, definitely. And then somebody like Arsenal, you would say, Arsenal should be trying to fight for leagues, should be trying to fight for cups. Spurs will now probably start thinking, I mean, Jesus, we need to at least win a cup here at some point. And, having that kind of conversation. Same in the Champions League. PSG will think we need to be winning the Champions League. Juventus, Bayern Munich, other teams in Europe, the Spanish teams. Only one team can do it out of all these teams that want to be in that conversation. To me, domestic competitions, and we include the Premier League, they came second in all of them, basically. Either won or came second in all of them, and that includes Europe. So again, we can call it a failure, we can call it a success. I know the Premier League and the Champions League are the two big ones, and they lost out on both of those. But to me, if you're a Liverpool fan, I mean, geez, you're behaving like a Real Madrid fan if you're unhappy with this season. Liverpool fans.
To me, I wouldn't call it a failure. I think a failure is a big word, but
right,
it's just going to be known as a common season. Because I'm going to take you back to a few classic teams right now. Chelsea in 2008. Jack, do you know how great that Chelsea team was?
Yeah, I mean, just the names alone. Yeah.
Jack, fantastic team, but we don't talk about how great they are to other Chelsea teams, because think about it, that team finished second in the Champions League. John Terry slip, finished 2 points off Manchester United, taking them all the way to the final day, and also lost the League Cup final to Tottenham. I don't know how they did that. They actually lost to Tottenham, but we don't consider them to be an all-time great team. No. Bayern Munich in 2012, yeah. Runner-up in the Champions League final, runner-up in the Bundesliga, and runner-up in the in the German Cup also that year. Bayern Leverkusen in 2002, runners-up in the Champions League, runners-up in the league after leading it all the way and bottling it on the final day, and also runners-up in the German Cup too. So listen, as great as a season it is, it's also a bit of a disappointment.
For sure.
We won't be putting them on the pedestal of all the other top teams, because at the end of the day, you got to get the job done. We don't do second place, especially at the highest of levels. But no more Liverpool, Real Madrid. Jack, is this the greatest Champions League run ever?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, again, you look at where you're at in the conversation. I mean, if you want to go back previous decades, I'm going to be the first person. The one reason why I'm always for the next man up being considered great is because, you can't do this whole thing of, well, if we had sports science and nutrition and we had more money and we had more this and we had more, it's like, yeah, but you didn't. I'm sorry that you played football in the 1970s, the 1980s, the 1960s, whatever, but you didn't have those things. So I'm not just going to sprinkle in magically a lack of development in, with the football world around you. To me, this is the highest quality of football in a knockout, in the most difficult knockout club competition that we've ever seen from this Real Madrid team. It's amazing. It's amazing. James, you and I kind of talked about this. Are we pointing out a specific style or breakdown of the way that Real Madrid play football that's just totally bamboozling the opposite? No, we're not. It's sheer will of this football team to do it and talent of the individuals who've now played together for such a long time. They know each other's game like the back of their hand. It's amazing. It's amazing. Carlo Ancelotti, James, as well. We're going to talk a lot about Benzema, who should win the Champions League. That great midfield. Ballon d'Or, that great midfield three, right? We're going to talk. Marcelo has supposedly leaving Real Madrid now. What an unbelievable career. He's had all this stuff. Carlo Ancelotti, he's by himself now with the amount of European cups he's won, right?
Four.
Unbelievable. unbelievable, and it's
One-
with multiple. It's with multiple different teams. I mean, Carlo Ancelotti as well deserves a lot of credit.
You know, I feel like what Real Madrid have been able to do this year. Do I think it's the greatest run? I think it's the most dramatic run we've ever seen. I think we've seen Real Madrid
Right.
teams go ahead and win. I think in 2018 they were able to beat the champions of England. They were able to beat the No, they didn't beat the champions. They beat the German champions, the French champions, and there was another one, Italian champions. So they beat Inter. No, they beat
Nuts.
Juve, PSG, and
Bayern
Bayern
and
Munich,
PSG,
and also
yeah.
in like. And then they beat Liverpool in the final, and then Barca beat the champions of Italy, champions of England, champions of Germany, and there was and champions of France. So we've seen some quality runs to the final. This is definitely the most dramatic. I've never seen a team be 2-0 down in like 3 ties and still find the way to win it. Not just scoring. Think about it. They did that not by winning on away goals, Jack. They have to clearly beat each team, which is so impressive. The fact that like there was no penalty runs in there. They found a way to do it in like the 180 minutes. It was incredible from Real Madrid. When you talk about culture, DNA, all that sort of stuff there, that is embedded in this football team, Jack. They don't know when they're beaten. This is just, listen, the fact I said, and like I made this claim to Jed, I said Real Madrid, after Ronaldo left, Real Madrid will not win the Champions League for the next 10 years. Oh boy, was I wrong.
Right.
But it just lets me know that, listen, they can let anybody go, but the fact that they're still called Real Madrid and also that DNA still exists, it makes a huge difference.
And James, going forward too, you talk about a blessing for the future. Eduardo Camavinga is going to remember that for the rest of his life. Fede Valverde is going to remember that for the rest of his life. Rodrigo, Vinicius Jr., these guys are going to remember this for the rest of their lives. There is the basis here potentially of being able to continue this with the mentality of the guys that they have. And James, if you're the Real Madrid hierarchy too, regardless of what you might want from the manager position, you keep Carlo Ancelotti there. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Antonio Rudiger's already coming through the door. In a couple of years' time, you and I have spoken about this, you're probably going to have Kylian Mbappe or Erling Haaland or both of them on your doorstep, as well as bringing in some other recruits as well. So it really, there are very few negatives here from Real Madrid, apart from players leaving. And again, the players leaving, it's about that time, you know?
You know, the thing about Real Madrid is that they're always going to evolve, but the fact that DNA matters, and the fact that these guys got to get to taste early Champions League success, that's just going to breed more and more, and like they're all going to want more there. And what an incredible team like Real Madrid are. 14 Champions League. Benzema definitely gets the Ballon d'Or. Vinicius, top 5, top 3. In fact, he he has been that great. Cruz, Casemiro, Modric, Thibaut Courtois, with all that criticism.
Casemiro played so well yesterday. My days.
Listen, David Alaba has been absolutely tremendous since he's come. I can name the whole Real Madrid team, but guys, Real Madrid fans, 14. Let us know what you think. Liverpool fans, was this season a success or a failure? Comment down below, guys.
Just quickly too, James, my final thing, like, you know, you talk about this spell that Liverpool and Jurgen Klopp have had, right? It's the least efficient run in terms of a trophy haul I think we've ever seen, right? It's one Premier League, it's one Champions League. Mane's now going. How long's Klopp got left? Salah's contract. I'm just saying, it's, you know, Liverpool fans, you need to let us know here. This is an inefficient use of this great team. Like, the trophy haul's not up to scratch.
Let us know, guys. Comment down below, and we will see you next time.